What's up, YouTube? This is Big Mike. I've gotten some requests from people saying that they want to hear me talk about the NBA. That's what I'll do. Golden State won easily game one, and they lead the series 1-0. Game two is tonight for this best of seven series. And if you don't know, I think Golden State's going to win this series, okay? I think they're going to win in six. But I wouldn't be surprised if they even win in five. But I think they're going to win in six. Why? Because let's be honest about something. Even though Golden State blew that 3-1 lead last year, one of the great upsets in NBA playoff history, and one of the great comebacks in NBA playoff history, the greatest comeback in finals history, well, you know what? That's debatable too, about whether or not this is the greatest comeback in finals history, because people forget the 1977 finals too, where the Sixers were up 2-0 against Portland, and then Portland won 4 straight games. So those two series are up there, you know. But I guess you have to say Golden State because Cleveland was on the brink of elimination. But anyway, something gets forgotten or not mentioned as much as it should in this dynamic. Number one, the Draymond Green suspension for Game 5. People act like that didn't. People who are Cleveland fans act like that had no effect on the series whatsoever. It's possible that Cleveland could have still won that game. Yes, it's very possible. But you can't argue that his absence didn't hurt Golden State. And then also, what I think really won the series was the injury to Andrew Bogut for Game 6 and Game 7 of that series, if I remember something correctly. Bogut was their rim protector, okay? Not to say that Bogut was one of the great centers of all time. He's not. But Bogut was their rim protector. And when he went down, all of a sudden you started seeing guys like LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and even Richard Jefferson, old man Jefferson, J.R. Smith, and maybe even Shumpert. You started seeing these guys put the ball on the floor and try to make some plays toward the basket. This year, I don't know if we're going to see something like that. I think Golden State is trying to play a little bit more calm, a little bit more collected. They're not as boastful, from what I've seen, because last year they jumped the gun a little bit. They're being a little bit more prideful, not prideful, excuse me, a little bit more thought out in what they say to the media. But I think that they're a team on a mission this year. I really do. I think that momentum is more on their side. I think they want to go down as one of the greatest teams of all time. I personally think they might be trying to replace the 2001 Lakers for the greatest postseason record of all time. Those of you who remember that 2001 Laker team, that team went 15-1 in the postseason. Back then, the first round was 3 of 5. That team went 15-1, breaking the record percentage-wise for the 83 Sixers, who went 12-1. Of course, right now the Warriors are, I believe, 13-0. So I think that's one of their motivating factors. I don't know if they're going to do it, but that's the motivating factor for them. Kevin Durant, as much as I don't like the decision that he made, I thought it was pussified. I just didn't like the idea of a guy joining a team that just beat him and beat him in a humiliating way. You go run and join that team. I just didn't like that idea. I thought it was a betrayal of the team that he played with. But you know what? All of that was hurt emotions. That was raw emotions. I was honest in those videos. But that was a long time ago. I would sound really silly going on video now, still saying the same things I was saying, back in July or August or last year or whatever. Ultimately, we have to come to the conclusion that the decision that Durant made was what was best for him, and ultimately, it's best for it's the best for OKC. And Russell Westbrook, who had one of the most magnificent seasons in NBA history, averaged a triple double, broke Oscar Robertson's record, and is the probable MVP for the regular season. Probable, not sure though. But back to Durant. Durant, for all these things I didn't like about him, and there's a lot of things I don't like about Durant, trust me, I can't get mad at his approach in game one. Cleveland's probably going to make some adjustments in game two, but game one, Durant showed the passion that he didn't show last year. And we was criticized for last year. Yeah, maybe, he's on this team now, and, you got this confidence. It was a saying we used to have, like, you need other people to put battery in your back, you know what I mean? But still, Durant played with passion and intensity. And sometimes that has been lacking with a guy like him. But let's also be honest about something else, too. People that want to criticize Durant for what he did, the person who made this culture of super teaming permissible is LeBron James. This is the guy that started it. This is the guy who teamed with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh with Miami. Okay? This is the guy who's decided to do things like this. It was him. And don't bring up Boston because there was no prior collusion with Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. That just happened to happen through trades. Okay, it was fortunate, a series of events involving trades and signings. There was no prior collusion with those three guys. There was collusion with James, Wade, and Bosh. There was collusion with all these guys now wanting to join up with super teams. And LeBron James started that culture. And Rob Parker was on Fox Sports 1, and he brought up that point, and I agree with him 100%. LeBron James is the guy that started this stuff, man. But my thoughts are, I think that Golden State's probably going to win game two. I'd be shocked if they don't. And if they don't win game two, then this series turns on its head. Because I just think that offensively, Golden State is just too talented for everybody, man. You have to almost hope that to beat Golden State, you have to hope 3 of their 4 shooters are off. You pretty much have to hope that Durant, Curry, and Thompson are off. And that doesn't happen often. But I don't know, man. And the thing about game one, Thompson and Draymond Green didn't have good offensive games. One of these games, Thompson's going to go off. It's going to happen. If not one, maybe 2 of these games. Draymond Green's going to have a game where he's on offensively. But going to Cleveland and talking about them, I made the video well over a month ago now, maybe 2 months ago, where I was talking about how Cleveland's defense is not what it once was. And people look at the playoffs as evidence that I was wrong. I could still be wrong. But this is the first team that Cleveland's played that's actually very good. The Pacers are not that good. Okay, the Celtics, especially without Thomas, is not good, despite the fact they still beat them in a game without their leader, talking about Boston. And who else did Cleveland play this year in the playoffs? I mean, they've been so unmemorable, you forget. Uh, the Pacers, the first round. The second round, it was, who was it? The Hawks? I can't remember. I think it was the Hawks. Um, but anyway, the teams that they've been playing before, this is a whole different level, okay? And I just think, I just don't really have much to say about this series, man. I just don't think that Cleveland has enough firepower, okay? I don't think they have enough firepower to match up with this team. But you know what? This is the difference between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. In 1993, the Phoenix Suns, and that was the best Phoenix Suns team in that team's history, led the NBA in scoring. The Bulls had dropped in scoring that year from 110 points a game the year prior to 105 points a game, if memory serves correctly. It might have been 103 points. Might have been 103. They dropped a lot offensively. They were not the same team. And most people said offensively, Phoenix is just going to kill Chicago. They don't have enough offense. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, these guys had to step up. Pippen had a very good series. Michael Jordan, they had a historically great series. Michael, during the regular season, averaged 32 points a game. Coming into that series, I think Michael was averaging something like 30, right around his average, about 32, 33 points a game. Something like that. For that series, Michael averaged 41 points a game. Why? Because he knew that he had to step up to beat this team. The Bulls were not the same team. John Paxson, Bill Cartwright, all these guys were getting old. The Bulls no longer had Cliff Levingston. They no longer had Craig Hodges. Their bench just wasn't that good. And Michael knew that he had to step up. LeBron James has to step up. Okay? I'm tired of hearing about, his numbers. When Russell Westbrook has triple doubles, okay, and they lose, I hear people always say, oh, but those are just empty stats that don't matter. But when LeBron James has triple doubles and losses of 20 points, oh, but he did what he had to do. Other people have to step up. I'm tired of that hypocrisy. This guy has to fucking step up. Because if they lose to the Warriors, especially in a manner that's humiliating, I never, ever, ever want to hear his name mentioned in the same breath as Michael Jordan. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm tired of excuses. This man has to have a legendary series. I don't care. I don't care who the opponent is. He has to have a legendary series. Michael Jordan knew, realistically, that the Bulls in '86 had no chance of beating the Boston Celtics. They didn't. That's why he averaged 44 points a game. That's why he dropped 63. He knew that he had to put up more. He had to shoot the ball more for his team to have a shot. He was the team's best offensive player. Kobe, for all his faults, had the same mentality. When he knew that his team was overmatched, he had to step up. LeBron James needs to step up. And he can't keep having his media apologists stepping up for him. Step up on the court. Don't allow people to step up in the media and make excuses for you. You're Shannon Sharps and all these guys. Step up on the fucking court and play like the greatest player of all time that you claim to be, or at least people claim you are, and you say you accept the challenge, you're chasing that ghost, then chase that motherfucker, put up 45, 50 points, and beat this fucking team.